to introduce to you, soon to be, Dr. Ali Syed, class of 2019, who will deliver our student address.
Salam, Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, and good morning. Thank you, Dean Kashansky, for that kind introduction. I can tell, looking through this auditorium, there's a lot of emotions going around in this building. I know for a fact, a lot of my classmates, a few of my classmates, are really nervous, largely because I'm speaking. It's like when you're at an award ceremony and Kanye West comes out of nowhere and grabs the mic, and everyone's like, no, anyone but him. Yeah. So, without further ado, congratulations, class of 2019. We finally made it after 4 years, 8 years if you were MD, PhD, but after 4 years of hard work, hundreds and thousands of dollars of tuition payments, we can finally call ourselves medical doctors. And of course, starting this summer, we can finally get paid. But seriously, today you are graduating from medical school. And not just any medical school, Stony Brook University School of Medicine. Wait, my bad. Renaissance School of Medicine at Stony Brook University. This really is a special place to train. The education and training provided here, coupled with the dedication of the faculty, the research, the quality of patient care, all these things have earned Stony Brook enormous respect. And just recently, it was announced that Stony Brook Hospital secured its position as one of the top 100 hospitals in the United States of America. Congratulations, Stony Brook Hospital. I'm really happy you guys clapped on that line. Those last 3 lines I read in an email last week, and I was like, I'm throwing that into my speech. I also want to take the time out to mention that of the 129 students graduating today, 13 of them went here for undergrad. And of those 13, 11 are first-generation Americans. And I just want to mention, because I'm one of them, that this institution doesn't just mean a lot to us, but it also means a lot to our families. So thank you, Stony Brook. As a quick aside, when you guys were parking here, you probably saw those signs plastered everywhere, far beyond. Far beyond is this institution's motto. And I have to say, and I really mean it when I say it, that when it comes to providing opportunities for students of diverse backgrounds, this institution really does go far beyond. But that's about it. When it comes to parking and food options, this place is really far behind. And I really hope in the future we can work on it and come up with new ideas, like a renaissance of new ideas. Get it? Renaissance? So, some of my classmates thought it would be a good idea for me to give the speech, and my job is to offer some words of wisdom, so I'll do my best. Take my advice with a grain of salt. I'm only 26. I've never lived outside of Suffolk County, and I spend my spare time watching Bollywood movies, so I'll do my best. The first point I'd like to share, be appreciative. I remember back in the summer of 2015, a couple months before we were starting medical school, I ran into a childhood friend of mine. And his journey was a lot different than mine. He lost his dad at a really young age, and I remember his mom had to take up 2 jobs. She worked as the lunch lady in our school, and at night she took up a job as a custodian. And when he was in high school, I remember he was juggling multiple part-time jobs so he could support his 2 younger sisters and his mom. And right after he graduated, he enlisted in the Army so he could serve our country. And when he asked me what I was doing, I told him, yeah, in a couple months I'm going to start medical school at Stony Brook. And when I told him that, he gave me a congratulatory high five and a hug. And he told me that it was always his dream to become a doctor. And that, things didn't work out, but he was really happy for me. And that in the future, he really hoped that his children would become doctors. And the only reason I'm saying that now is we all worked hard to get to where we are, but at the same time, things fell into place for us. And we should always count our blessings and be thankful that we were able to sit where we are today. And I say that because medicine is a really tough and difficult road to walk, but it's absolutely worth it. Problems will happen. This isn't an easy career. And from day one of medical school, we were always told, patient care, patient care, patient care. But in the real world, it becomes difficult. Patients, the families of patients, administrators, insurance companies, and even politicians can make that difficult. And in times like that, you just have to remind yourself why you really became a doctor. And remember that there are countless individuals out there that would do anything, and I mean anything, to be in the position that we are. So let's never forget that. The second point I'd like to share is remember the people that got us to the point of where we are today. And I want to start off by talking about our family members. They sacrificed for us, don't forget them. I just briefly want to make a shout out to my parents. My parents don't have medical degrees, but anytime in the last 26 years of my life, if I was sick, they were the first people I went to for medical advice. And now that I have a medical degree, they will still be the first people I go to for medical advice. And I just want to share that a couple weeks ago, I remember I wasn't feeling well. And I was walking around in the living room and I woke my mom up and, she came down and asked me if everything was okay. And I was like, Maji, like my head hurts. And she was like, "Putar koi gal nahi, tusi cha pi lo," which she said she would make chai for me. And I don't know if it was the placebo effect, but the chai worked. The chai always works. And I don't know where my mom is sitting in the audience, but thank you. The allergies are kicking in, but they say that an MD stands for a medical doctorate, but I can tell you that as a South Asian, what an MD really stands for is a mother's dream. So, as you go off into residency and your eventual careers, don't forget your parents. In fact, right after the ceremony, take them out to a nice dinner. You're already in a lot of debt. Now that brings me to thanking your mentors. Thank the faculty and staff here at Stony Brook School of Medicine. Don't forget the time and effort they placed into our curriculums and our courses to make us better doctors. Don't forget the emails they sent us every Friday, reminding us of things that we had to do, and then sending us subsequent emails, reminding us to do the things that we were supposed to do, but that we didn't do. I don't know if my classmates got those emails, but I certainly did. And thank some of the people you may not know directly, such as our people that donate to this institution. A quick shout out to our donors at Renaissance Technology. Not only have they provided us with financial means to expand our facilities, but they've also provided me funny stories to tell people when I tell them that our school is called Renaissance. I got permission to tell this joke. So I remember at one of my residency interviews, my badge said, Ali Syed, Renaissance School of Medicine at Stony Brook. And the girl sitting across from me, I don't think she saw the Stony Brook part, she just saw the Renaissance part. And she was like, Renaissance, Renaissance, that sounds familiar. My cousin, he studies at St. George's. Which island in the Caribbean is your school on? And I was like, Long? Long Island. For anyone watching this on the live stream, Stony Brook University is a USMD allopathic school in the continental United States. The third point. Don't forget what we're capable of, not just as physicians, but as humans. And I say that because I know for a fact a lot of you guys, even without an MD attached to your name, you are doing extraordinary things. One of my mentors, my spiritual advisor, you could say, and hopefully one day he becomes my future employer, the Bollywood actor Shah Rukh Khan, he once said, "Degree se sirf certificate milta hai, aql nahi," which in English means that a degree just gives you a certificate, not the aptitude. And I mean that because a lot of my classmates have done extraordinary things. I remember the first year of medical school, one of our classmates, his house burned down, and our instant response was to start a fundraiser so we could help him get back on his feet. I remember every week getting emails, because every Sunday, for all of you that don't know, Stony Brook has something called SB Home, which is a clinic which provides healthcare for individuals that don't have health insurance. And students from our medical school give up their weekends to work at this clinic. And I only know that because I just turned 26 and I don't have health insurance, so I will be there this Sunday. Thank you. The fourth point, wherever you go for residency, whatever field you choose, at all costs, please avoid Starbucks and Whole Foods. And the reason I say that is because all of you are in enormous amounts of debt. Shopping at Whole Foods is like the second half of fourth year of medical school. You're spending thousands and thousands of dollars of something of questionable value. That wasn't a joke, that was like life advice. The fifth point, even though medicine is your career, it doesn't have to be the only thing in your life. Don't give up on your other interests and passions. Growing up, my mom always used to tell me, "Ali, you can do whatever you want to do. Just get the medical degree first." And now that I have my medical degree, I have her blessings to pursue a career in real estate or become a screenwriter in the Bollywood film industry. But part of what made you guys interesting was the interest you had on the side. For the past 4 years, if I ever needed advice on men's fashion, I would go to Kazi Ulum. When I can see Kazi starting seminars, telling healthcare professionals how to dress up. If I ever needed advice about financial planning, I would go to John Menamana. I can see him writing books on where medical students should invest their money. And if I ever needed food reviews, I would go to Elizabeth Delchan and James Tabormatna's Instagram page, where they have thousands and thousands of Instagram followers. And you can follow them too, at Eaters Unite. That's Eaters with an S. I said that right? Yeah, because we agreed on that 1% commission for free publicity. That's a line from a Bollywood movie. As you all know, 2019 is a very special year. Not only is it our graduating year, but it's also the year in which Game of Thrones ended. And the reason I mentioned that is because a couple of episodes ago, there was a quote which really resonated with me, and it was made by one of the main characters, and the quote goes something along the lines of, "Everything you did brought you to where you are now, where you belong," end quote. And if you think about it, it's true. My good friend, Erin Duffy, she worked as a consultant for an IT company, and then it was in her mid-20s that she decided to go into medicine. My other good friend, Antonio Hosey, he worked for an astronomy lab, and it was astronomy which led him to medicine. Some of my colleagues were in that 8-year BSMD program where they get into medical school right after high school. And for them, they knew at age 16 that they wanted to go into, their parents told them at age 16 to go into medicine. As for me, my career path was a little bit different. I always wanted to be in the NBA, and genetics caught up. And it hits you that South Asians were not made for the NBA. They were probably made for the spelling bee, but not the NBA. And I realized that medicine was a more rewarding, enriching experience. And the reason I use Game of Thrones as a reference is because all of us had different backgrounds and it brought us to where we are today. And whatever you guys do not be like the screenwriters at Game of Thrones and mess it up the way they messed up this last season. It was horrible, atrocious, and thank you, someone agrees. So, to wrap it up, a couple of weeks ago, I was at a wedding, and a 17-year-old family friend of mine approaches me and he asks me for advice. He's at that point where I think he's going into his senior year, so he's going to be applying to colleges soon, and he wants to pursue a career in medicine. And he asked me, if you could do things over, knowing everything you know now, would you still do medicine? And I was like, bro, if I could go back in time, I would buy Bitcoin so I could buy a school of medicine. Think about it. SB AIM, Stony Brook Elite Institute of Medicine. It flows right off the tongue. But to be honest, I told him, yes, I would absolutely do medicine all over again. Because at the end of the day, being with the patient when they need you the most is perhaps one of the most enriching feelings that a person could experience in their career. So I gave him advice. Work hard, eat right, get enough sleep, follow your dreams as long as your dreams don't involve making it to the NBA, and you should be good. So, to the class of 2019, I just want to tell you all I'm proud of you, all of you, and I can't wait to meet at our 10-year reunion. If this real estate gig works out, hopefully it'll be at my palace, but if not, SAC Auditorium works. With that being said, congratulations, class of 2019.
So now I'd